Hey everyone, welcome in again, another edition of Tailgating with Chef Dave, week 17, Detroit Lions. That's right, Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears. We are talking Chicago, iconic Chicago foods for our tailgate. Well, we did, the first time we played Chicago, we did the Italian beef thing. Phenomenal sandwich. Chef Jason was with us. It was good stuff. We had a great time. This time around, I really thought long and hard, but didn't really think that long, I should say. But I thought hard about it. I was like, you know what? Kept coming back to the same thing, I should say. The first thing I thought of when I think Chicago. Meatpacking district. That's right. Steakhouses, meatpacking district, beef. I thought of Chicago in the sense of 1865 they started stockyards because they had the refrigerated trucks or cars that could run on the train. And they're coming in and out of Chicago. And so clever guys there in Chicago, gals, they said, hey, let's set up a meatpacking district. Let's pack a bunch of meat and we can distribute it here in the Midwest. And it became a really good thing because it revolutionized, it reworked the way that America was doing things, right? So we got a lot of meat, right, into a lot of different places that maybe didn't have the opportunity to have some of that awesome stuff, right? So what we're talking about today on Tailgating with Chef Dave, week 17, I'm a steakhouse chef before I open up my meat market, but here we are, right? I have a meat market from a chef's perspective because I was a chef for so many years in steakhouses nonetheless. So today I'm going to break down this beef tenderloin. I'm going to kind of show you what I got going on here. See this whole tenderloin? You first, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of this tenderloin process can be done with your hands. That's right. You wear gloves, you want to wear gloves. We just cleaned our hands and we're gonna eat this steak. So I'm gonna cook this steak and eat it anyway, as you can see. But we'll talk about some other cuts too. But the first thing we're doing here today is, see that? Just separate kind of that skin from the chain, right? They call that the chain. Just kind of separate with your fingers, yeah? Get in there, follow it. Bring that down, right? Boom. Separate the chain, nice and easy. You don't really need a knife. Look at that, chain is separated from our tenderloin. We'll set this aside right here on our tray. Got my towel. And I just, I like to pull off, scale off some of that fat there. That's why this bad boy is so tender. It's got all that fat around it that kind of protects that meat, right? And everybody knows, oh, silver skin. Everybody talks about silver skin. Anybody who thinks they know something about meat, oh, the silver skin this, the silver skin that. And so we're gonna take it off. It's really not that hard, right? It's really not that hard. So look at that. We took off the tail and a little excess fat. Let me pull it up here. See that? Chain, excess fat. We're down to our skin here. I like to flip it over and look at this. It runs big to small, right? So take this knife and kind of run it, right? Level, straight. See? Run it straight and you're gonna clip off all that. See? You're kind of pulling more than anything, right? I'm pulling this excess layer of fat. Put this over here. Great trimmings for a really good burger, right? With that chain meat cleaned out. Clean that chain meat out. You grind it up. Make yourself an excellent burger. So here, right? Come back. Get a little more of this fat. Come back in here. Clean up just a little bit more. Boom. Pull it off with your hand. Now, there's a piece of silver skin on the back end of this, right? Let me pull that off. Now look at that. Get some of that excess fat out of there, right? And I like to come trim this right here, back, right on down, follow line. Look at that. You got that barrel of that head off over there. Now you got this full on whole tenderloin that we can now get a good line underneath. Let your knife do the work. Follow it, right? Kind of edging that knife blade up a little bit as you're pulling away from the meat, right? Look at that. We didn't have much, we didn't have much waste on that, right? Clean that up, get that out of there. A little bit deeper here. Look at that. Now you take this whole tenderloin, clean. See that? Boom. Now this, we cut. There we go, get rid of that. We cut and we turn this into steaks or fillets, right? Boom, 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 boom. Or we can leave it whole, wrap this underneath, tie it off. A beautiful tenderloin roast. I'm gonna set that aside. Put rid of that. And then we're gonna talk about some other cuts of meat on this week's Tailgating with Chef Dave. Think about when you're out tailgating, you might want a sous vide, right? Where you cook these steaks in a water bath and have them ready to temp already. You bring them to your tailgate, right? You drive to the tailgate, boom, pull out these beautiful steaks, bam, throw them on the grill, get a little color on either side, caramelize a little bit there. Excellent, excellent way to do that, called reverse sear. You also can buy bigger hunks when you're thinking tailgating, right? Buy a full slab of New York, a whole strip loin. Buy a whole tenderloin, like I just said. If you got 4 or 5 guys, gals that are over at the tailgate, and you want to cut those steaks up, then you got a steak for everybody, nice big steak for everybody. Or roast that whole tenderloin, grill that whole tenderloin, slice it up, put it on some baguette rolls or some baguette bread with some lettuce and tomato and some horseradish sauce. Man, you got yourself a great tailgating gig there. Or you go fancy, fine, high-end like we're doing today with our steak, stockyard style, Chicago beef style, if you will. You could do a flat iron. You could take this. Now this is a newly popular cut called a culotte, or top of the sirloin, a sirloin cap, right? You go to the Gaucho, you go to Fogo de Chao, you go to these places that have the meat coming around on the stick. Well, they cut these sirloins, they cut this steak, boom, 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 and it strips, put it on that long spit, roast it nice and slow, or roast it whole. Slice it afterwards. Beautiful, beautiful sirloin steak with a lot of flavor because it's protected by that nice thick fat cap on there. So that meat's nice and tender. You can always go big time, right? You and a few friends, bam, get the tomahawk. Don't even play around, right? Like, just get that bad boy out. Or you've got a small, like I said, more intimate tailgate, and you really want to impress, you do what I did. You grill off some nice steaks. I got the New York strip there, got the filet over here. Let me grab this filet, I'm gonna show you this filet. This filet is beautiful. Look at this, look at that bad boy. Awesome, huh? So again, different ways to tailgate, different ways to do things. Week 17, we've got one more week to go. Green Bay next week, I believe, to end the season, regular season that is. The Lions, we need a win today. We need to beat up on Chicago, get our confidence back up and at the right level going into that Green Bay game, because I have a feeling that win this week, I should say, win in Green Bay, week 17 or 18, whatever it is. Week 18, this is week 17, Tailgating with Chef Dave, YouTube style. If they get their morale up on a win against Chicago, I think they really can do something and have big hopes of going into Green Bay, squashing their hopes of getting into the playoffs, and our thing, right? Do our thing, 2023 now, sorry, season, 22-23 season. Dan Campbell, do his thing, unbelievable turnaround to a season. Either way, they did big things this year, right? And so that's why we did Tailgating with Chef Dave. We wanted to have a little bit of fun. We thought about iconic cities, opposing teams, and what kind of food that they had there. What kind of food would we tailgate from there? I could come in here and say, oh, this is what we do every week. I have a lot, I could talk about recipes all week long, every year, all year long, whatever, however, things that I enjoy. But I thought, the challenge was maybe getting some of those things out of those other cities and doing something uniquely our way. So from the pop-up at the butchery here, where I have a meat market right next door, Tailgating with Chef Dave, week 17 is a wrap. Chicago, beef style.